Did you hear about the new restaurant that Elon Musk is building on the moon?
Oh, no, I did not.
Standing food, but zero atmosphere. Okay, so welcome to another edition of VisionCast Network, where collaboration and technology come together in service to humanity. So today's guest, a special guest, Carrie LaMastus. She's an online clinical hypnotherapist. She runs Take Back Your Light. I've known Carrie since 2021, I believe it is. So welcome, Carrie. It's great to see you again.
Thank you. Great to see you again too, Christian.
So tell the viewers a little bit about your background, what led you to become a hypnotherapist, and any interesting bits and pieces along the way that you'd care to share with us.
Oh, well, so my background, I was an interior designer
Hmm.
for probably 30 years, most of my background.
Okay.
It was what I always intended to do, what the only thing I knew how to do, and it was definitely my path. It was, growing up, my mom was not an interior designer, but staged homes before there was staging homes.
Okay.
And so I lived in the environment, and that's what I did. And how that brought me to hypnosis and hypnotherapy is in 2018, I was running my own business
Okay.
and a single mom.
Hmm.
So, and I was running as soon as I started my business, it just took off like a rocket. Like I was slammed from day one, which was great, making lots of money,
Yep.
stressed out beyond.
Yep.
As a single mom, I didn't know how to deal with that stress. And um, what I did, I was dating the wrong men. I, I was not necessarily, I wouldn't say I was abusing alcohol, but there was definitely relief at the end of the week, right? Friday night, Saturday night. And I was taking out a good portion of my stress on my child.
Hmm.
And he was young at the time, still young, but that was the piece that really was destroying me on the inside. It wasn't fun. It wasn't the narcissistic relationship. It wasn't the negative mind chatter. It wasn't the arguments with my mom who wasn't in the room, right? It was yelling at my kid, and I didn't know how to stop.
Hmm.
Um, and I couldn't get out of it. And um, in 2019, I was watching YouTube. And I ran into a hypnotherapist, and I started watching her videos, and she calls on Archangel Michael in her
Hmm.
videos.
Hmm.
And so one night I laid down in my bed, completely sober, by the way, and I said, "Okay, Archangel Michael, if this is real, then show it to me." And was experiencing pain points, not in that moment, but I had felt these pain points in my chest prior to that. Never knew what they were. They flared up during times of stress, and they went away. And so that evening when I laid down, I challenged Archangel Michael. I felt a pain point, and I saw in my mind myself crying in the crib as a baby with
Hmm.
all of the feelings,
Hmm.
with all the where am I? Where is anyone? Why isn't anyone coming? What's going on? Confusion, abandonment, all of the things. And so I said, okay, Archangel Michael, release that energy. Let's fill it with something else. And we moved on to the next. It happened 5 or 6 times. Couple of them crying in the crib as a baby, couple of them doing bad things as a teenager. And after feeling that energy release from my body, and those, as of today, those feelings, those pain points have not returned at all in my life. So after that experience, that was the moment that I said, forget interior design.
Hmm.
I'm going to go figure out what this was and explore
And
hypnotherapy.
And that was in 2019.
That was 2019.
Wow. That was just 5 short years ago.
Mhm. Mhm.
So how did that change your life? I mean, what was the process? Was it like a hard turn or was it gradual? And how did you navigate that?
It was a hard turn in that that was the decision, that was the moment that I decided to essentially shift my I was not flipping flopping on the fence of doing interior design still and discovering hypnosis. I hadn't gone to school yet then. And but that was the moment that I decided I'm I'm changing my career. I'm going towards hypnosis and hypnotherapy, and I've got to figure out what this was because it was so powerful. And the fact that we can release energies from our bodies that have made such an impact on our lives that
Mhm.
we get stuck. I call those energy signatures now, that and it's the trigger that keeps reminding us of who we believe ourselves to be. But that trigger is the limiting belief, the
Yeah.
energy signature that we hold in our bodies. So we're able to release those. And that for me, that discovery, that realization, I'll say, was mind blowing and life changing. So I made the quick shift in that moment, but then the process, um, I was that year 2019, I as I was transitioning out of design, it wasn't really, it was, I still had clients, I still had jobs to do, I still had, bills to pay.
Yeah.
But my body, because of the stress I was under, had shut down.
Mm.
And I was on the couch. I couldn't get off the couch. I couldn't get myself to work that year at to my capacity, to my standard.
Right.
Um, but miraculously, the clients everything worked out. That my clients are lovely, and nobody even knew. I was able to keep it all under wraps, even though in my mind and what was happening in my world at that moment was, shut down. It was burnout,
So sounds like you were exhausted.
exhausted. It was, and I didn't know that at the time. I
Okay.
didn't understand that it was burnout. I thought it was a spiritual awakening. I mean, Archangel Michael had just pulled out energy from my body.
Right.
I'm thinking that this was a spiritual awakening, and I still do. This was definitely a a shift in
Yeah.
my consciousness. And a lot of other things happened during that year along those lines. But it's it's why I focus my business right now on single women and moms
Mm.
and burnout, because they're first, I believe that single women and moms are the most powerful creatures on the planet.
Yeah.
And when you're single, you're in a unique position to make change in your life without affecting a relationship.
Right.
So it's a really good time to create change, and there's a reason to create change, because single mom especially, you've got a child, there's a reason to create change.
And how would you say that that affects not only yourself but your child? And what would you have to say to other single women that are considering making this shift and really stepping up into more of the power of who they are? What is the far-reaching impact of this? How does this affect not only yourself but also your children and your children's children's children?
It's a great question. And l- develop learning the process of hypnosis and hypnotherapy and developing what I call the regressive release method.
Hmm.
And I teach this process to my clients to do on themselves, but also to on their kids. As a mom, formerly stressed out, yelly mom, right? There was energy, let's say, that my son now has in his body that was from me.
Okay.
And couple years ago, he doesn't have eczema anymore, and I believe it was hypnotherapy and his training his mind that healed that released that energy. But the eczema was showing up whenever he got stressed.
Mm,
And I described it to him as, his nervous system was full of anxiety. And I took full responsibility from his mom. Because not only was I a stressed out mess, but he felt that energy from me. He
oh,
took that on from me, and I shoveled it. Both, right? So when I can when he was dealing with this, what we did was, he loves to get his back scratched at night. And I still, not one night has gone by that I haven't scratched his back. And so as we do that, I ask him to talk about it, get him into a nice relaxed state.
yeah.
And I ask him to talk about where he feels that energy in his body, and what does it look like, and what is the message. And essentially I get him to release that energy, and they love it. The kids' imaginations, they come up with all kinds of things.
Right. The wonder of a butterfly.
Exactly. And so the power of that to heal your child along the way, we can't get stuck in the guilt about what we've done in the past, or it's their journey, but you're healing their bodies, you're releasing the energy, you're giving them the tools you're giving them the tools to use in their life along their way. So, what a gift.
Yes. So, do you believe that he chose you as a mom?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I
Yeah.
imagine he's probably very happy with that.
Yeah. I hope so.
Cool mom, check. Yeah.
Yeah. We have our relationship is fantastic now. It's, yeah, he's my little love bunny kitten, you know,
Beautiful.
he's my little bear. Hmm.
Beautiful. Yeah. I remember seeing him pop in and out of class sometimes when you were a student at the academy.
Yeah.
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 Bright
He's
light,
bigger now.
bright light, very bright
Yeah.
light.
Thank you.
So, what would you say if you is there a story that really illustrates your going through that awakening, finding the gold in the lead, the alchemical process that you'd care to share that might inspire someone to make that important shift?
I think it's every time I drill down into something that's bothering me,
Hmm.
and release that energy, and really discover that it's you said alchemical shift. The body, once the energy is released, the body changes.
Yeah.
There is a deceleration of um fear. You're releasing all of the anxiety, that accelerated nervous energy, and you just are able to release it. So every time that happens, and I believe healing is like an onion, right? You're peeling the onion, and so there's more and more, and eventually maybe there won't be any more. But that's empowerment, right? So when you have the ability to change your vibration around a particular subject completely, not just fake, right? We're not talking about covering it up with light and love.
Just in the logical mind, but at a
Not
cellular level.
at a cellular level. At a cellular, that's where the shift
Yeah.
happens. And I've had a lot of clients recently talk about, I'm saying my affirmations.
Mm,
What's coming next. I keep saying my affirmations and I just don't feel like they're, and I say to them, affirmations are not to cover up. We
Yep.
don't we don't use the affirmation to cover up and push down. We do the deep healing work to release and then use the affirmation to remind yourself of who you really are
Yep.
over and over again until that becomes your habit, until that is your subconscious mind,
Your experience of life.
your experience of life.
The dominant thought manifesting now is this new experience of life that's programmed in based on the understanding and release of something that was a benefit for learning.
Yes.
Beautiful. So, is there one thing you'd like to say to the listeners that would be the most important thing, or one of the highly important things to help your ideal client on their journey of self-discovery?
I would say that the single women and moms who are living in fear or exhaustion, the the light is right around the corner.
Hmm.
You're not far from it. It's not a life sentence.
Hmm.
And every hurdle, that's why single women and moms are so powerful, because they've already gone through so many hurdles. And every time you cross one of those hurdles, you get more and more and more powerful. And that one hurdle doesn't, it's just a decision to release the negative belief patterns and build something more true and powerful about yourself.
Love it. So, where do people find out about you? How do people connect with you? What's the best way to do that?
My website is great and I offer free consultations. So my website is takebackyourlight.com.
Takebackyourlight.com, and you offer free consultation.
Yes.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for spending some time, and it's good to catch up with you again. It's been
Yes.
a number of years, and glad that you're thriving and doing good work.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you for having me.
You're very
Good to
welcome.
see you again.
Be well.
Be well. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Yeah, so we were just talking about the online world and how things have changed dramatically. And what do you think is the good news about working online with your clients? What do
The
you love
good,
about it, Carrie?
I love working online with my clients because they can be in their bed, they can be in their home, and it works just as well. I think the misconception about working online is they think that there's somehow that I am the hypnotherapist is the source of healing, which is not true.
Yeah.
They are the client is the source of healing always. So you do not have to be in the presence or, in bed at your home it's wonderful right there in the headphones. It
Yeah.
works out
All is
great.
well, right? And you're
All
able to
is well.
help people around the world, yes?
Absolutely.
Yeah, beautiful. Do you remember 2001: A Space Odyssey, that movie? It's like an old movie.
I know it's an old movie. I don't know that I remember that movie.
At the very end, well, you can probably find it on Netflix. At the very end, there's this great scene of a child gestating in utero, and the music's coming up, dun, 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 and then Kubrick cuts to this scene where the astronaut that was in that scene is watching himself as he's leaving his body, saying, "Something wonderful is going to happen. Something wonderful is going to happen." So it's like this merging of consciousness, technology, and rebirth.
Yes.
Kind of how I view this time. It's really interesting because the internet was the single most disruptive technology in the history of mankind, in my opinion. And then we had COVID come 30 years later. That brought us to our knees. And then we had Zoom escalating and taking off within 18 months. to this thing that something wonderful is going to happen. And over the next 8 months, there will be over 90 million people worldwide collaborating in this environment where the world has
Yeah.
become very small. Something wonderful is going to happen.
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
I believe it's a blessing to be able to work with people.
Absolutely.
And I love what you say about, the answer is within.
Absolutely.
Those clients that come to me that need, that are looking for like another 10 milligrams of hypnosis to get them. No, it's like, I think maybe you'd be better off working with somebody else because I'm
Yeah.
not the solution.
Right. Right.
Right on. Well, I love what you're doing. I love the fact that you're working with single moms. I was raised by a single mom.
There you go.
She is still feisty.
Yes.
At
The
night,
most powerful creatures on the planet.
she reminds me of that oftentimes. But anyway, so I love what you're doing.
Thank you, Christian.
Thank you. Take care.
Really
Bless.
appreciate it. Listen,
We'll catch you on the B side.
absolutely.